because Andrea's going to do it too, but she's going to put on her mask, I think.
Yes, I have a calming mask that I'm going to use. So I've already actually laid down some peptides from Victoria DN and applied those to my skin. And then I'm going to use the mask.
Anybody else that came today, did they bring their mini with them? I can't see everybody, so if you did, follow along. Oh, look, Stephanie's bringing hers out now.
While she's going through this, I just kind of wanted to hit the high points again. The Clareblend Mini, retail device to your client, super simple to use, no on or off. They don't have to customize any settings. There are no settings. It's on or off. It couldn't be easier. It's a great way for your clients to maintain their professional treatment, since none of us can get in and get those treatments right now. We don't want our clients to lose what progress they were making in the treatment room with those professional treatments. So this is a great way to generate a little income during this time and also keep your clients on the road to better skin once they can get back into the facility, so you guys don't have to start those treatments, those microcurrent treatments all over again.
And the good thing about the mask is there's enough liquid that's remaining inside of the mask that you can apply the serum that's inside to the neck for the slippage when you're doing the movements that are on your neck.
We did have a question about why we apply peptides first. The side effect of microcurrent is going to be helping penetrate those products down deeper into the skin than just a topical application. So we lay those down and then just use the microcurrent not only for the lifting and toning of the skin, but it's also going to help penetrate those skincare products down deeper as well.
And I find those doing the lift and tone really does help, just as far as the results too, as far as it's like an added 1-2 punch.
Not a requirement, but certainly a little added bonus to layer your skincare products under the conductive gel.
And if you mess up on the beeps, it's not the end of the world, okay? So, but the beeps are there to help guide you to, as you can see, come upward, hold, wait until it double beeps, and then move to another area. I have to admit, I have to not look at the monitor because it looks opposite of what I'm doing. So, and I'm used to doing it without any monitor anyhow. So I'm just going through my normal steps and trying not to look at what I'm doing. You can work on, go ahead, Stephanie.
I was going to comment on that with your clients at home. There is a general flow of how to do your movements, but there really is no wrong. As long as they're moving upward and holding, basically they don't have to follow, you have to do this, and then you have to do this. So it really, once you get the hang of it, it really is a no-brainer. Like Pam said with the emails, I'm doing the same thing. I'm usually answering emails. I do it watching television. Lord knows I'm not thinking about it then. I'm just lifting, watching my TV show, going along the face. Also, the question of, does the Mini have a timer? No, until you unplug it. Hinting on that, I really enjoy that the Clareblend Mini is plugged into a power source. That way you're not losing any of your battery power, even if it's a very small percentage. The first touch on your face has as much power as the last touch on your face. But they can control, there is no on off or timer switch, so they can decide the longevity of their treatment.
So I've moved to the next fourth of my face. So I'm putting some more conductive, just because I do it a fourth at a time. If you do put it on more and you start to lose it, sometimes I'll just take a mist and spritz myself too, just to reactivate the gel too. So you can do that. So, and you can go back and work more on one area if it bothers you. Usually what I like to do, and I didn't tell you all this, is I'll look at myself and I'll see which eyebrow seems to be up higher or lower, or my cheek. And I like to start on the lowest side first and get it lifted as far as I can. Then I'll do the other side, maybe just a little bit less. And once I see it's matching, I'll just stop on that other side. I have to not look again because it's like backwards. So, but it's easy to use. Just think about when I put it on my skin, If it looks better holding it this way, you don't want to go downward. You always want to give a nice little lift up. You don't have to like press real hard. You can let it glide along, but you want to do it. So like in my case, I like to make my, you know, my fat little cheeks up a little bit higher and take away from down here. So, and then of course on my brows, I love to do my eyebrows. My eyebrows are probably my favorite part because I have more of a hooded eye look. So I want to take and make sure I give it a lift up. I'm going to get back into my cycle.
Basically, we're using these prongs as our sculptor. We want a little indentation here to give those little cheekbones so we get underneath it and lift it up and hold. So wherever you put your mini and the direction you go to hold it, you're trying to mimic whatever you're doing with the mini is what you're hoping the skin will do. So always up and in or up and hold, but we're lifting everything up. Everything goes up, defying gravity.
Not a heavy pressure. We're not taking in, you know, bruising ourselves or anything of that sort to get this, okay? We're just lifting it up, and it, you know, if it doesn't hurt at all. And you don't even, that's another question a lot of people ask is, am I going to feel like a zap? No, because this is a low voltage, not a high voltage, and it is true microcurrent, okay?
A couple more questions from the chat box. How often should the mini be used per week? 2 to 3 times. The bigger part is going to be the client finding the time in their day. Well, not so much right now, but under normal circumstances, finding the time in their day to do it more often. But 2 to 3 times is certainly sufficient. Also, another tip, we don't recommend using these in the treatment room as a microcurrent treatment, but when we get back in the treatment room, a fantastic way to sell these is just do the eyes. Only takes about 5 to 10 minutes more on the treatment. They'll get those results right around the eyes and get them excited to purchase at retail as you're checking them out. So yes, spot treatments could actually, if you do them on your client, a quick spot treatment could potentially sell one of these.
And I just did like a quick, but can you see like even when I'm trying to hold my head straight? There we go. Okay. Can you tell like which side that I've been working on versus the other side?
I can.
What are you looking at when you see that, Stephanie? Help them out so that they know what's the difference that they're going to see.
Looking at the screen, Pam's on our left. On our left, Pam's eyebrow is lower. If you look at the right one, her arch is extended upward and outward versus the left where the brow goes more straight across the top. So we're looking more at the arch of the brow compared to the arch on the left side.
And then sometimes in the cheek area too, one cheek versus the other, you'll be able to tell a difference on that too. So everybody's got their own areas of what they don't like, you know. So mine is my eyebrows, because like I said, I want to get that more of the lift on that, because especially, you know, now that I'm in my 60s, you know, you get more of that hooded look. I don't want that. So that's the best area I'd like to take and spend time on doing. Andrea does it more as preventive. Stephanie would do it more as preventive.
I actually do have a spot that I work on.
Okay.
I have recently lost a little bit of weight, thank goodness. But I've noticed that my weight loss is showing right here. So I've actually been working on the lower chin, moving it outward and back to tighten up this area after a little bit of weight loss.
And you can see by the picture behind Stephanie and myself, that's Andrea there. She gets to be our model when it comes to the minis. And so now when you see that picture now, you'll be like, oh, I know who that is now. So like I said, it's easy to use. Keep in mind, you just want to upward motions. You're going to hear the beep, hold it until it double beeps. If you just go real fast on the skin, your beeps are going to be all messed up. Just because, remember, the beeps are there to glide, hold until it double beeps. Beeps when it gets into the cycle, beeps, and then you want to hold it until it double beats. Does that make sense?
It was a question about, does it re-educate the muscles? Not really, not re-educate, but it does stimulate them to contract slightly. That will, over time, they will relax and return back to where they were. So this is a good analogy. The microcurrent is going to push all that together and up, and then it will start to gradually relax. And that's why we need to continue the treatments so that we keep that all pulled in and lifted.
Remember, you're trying to stimulate your ATP. So that's your adenosine triphosphates. And so basically that's the energy for your cells. So what we're trying to do is make more energy for the cells, and that's going to keep us going. As like Rich had said earlier, we talked about how, you know, we are trying to keep everything like exercise. We can't stop doing it. So this is the reason for we want to keep that ATP stimulated, not overstimulated, but stimulated. I call machines that actually just, they do too much too fast. That looks good for the moment, but it's like a sugar high, then it all comes down quickly. So we want to build a house with a good foundation. So we start and we build up and up and up on keeping everything stimulated.
The lifespan. I'm not sure if you meant the lifespan of the device, but that's kind of a hard question to answer because it's really going to depend on how your client is taking care of it and keeping it properly cleaned and stored. So I don't really know how to answer that question specifically.
If you're meaning the lifespan of the unit, I know a lot of them that have the original minis, and the original minis were actually, now the paint, or I wouldn't call it paint, the coloring, would you call it that, Nadia, is in the mini. As originally it was painted on the original ones. And so I've had some call me and say, my mini still works, but the paint's starting to come off. And they don't do that anymore because they're not. But that shows you how the life of, they've had it for many, many years, that mini. Now, please, 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 after you're done, always clean all the way around. Please, please, please. And that's going to keep no buildup of stuff. I just use like little alcohol preps. And because again, this is for home use. So wipe that down. You know, again, it's just for you to use, but we don't want buildup of gels and product. Yeah. Always staying in good shape. So just a simple little alcohol swab. We'll work with that to keep that clean for you for your next time.
Daisy asked what the benefits of using the mask with the mini. The mask that Andrea is using is a biocellulose mask with some peptides. The mask itself is a little conductive, so we're getting the conductivity from the mask and also pushing in those peptides as well. So it's basically the same concept as laying down your serums and then doing the treatment on top. Just the same thing, it's just your serums are in that mask.
In one way it's easier, and one way it's harder, because the mask, you know, Andrea by now, she can probably show you, she's really good at doing it over the mask, and these masks that we're using, they stay in place really well, so that's a good thing. And then she uses the excess, like she told you, on the neck, so then that's conductive gel, or she uses the Clareblend conductive gel on her neck. But sometimes I find, you know, I just rather just use the conductive gel and go over it too. So it's whatever you want, but it's a good little alternative that you can do too. They even have little eye mask ones just to do just the eyes too. Any other questions?
Jamie had a question regarding overstimulating ATP, combining that with red LED light as well, since red LED will also help stimulate that.
Yeah, between the two, you're fine because they kind of hit it in a slightly different way, different format, think of it that way. But you can do the red LED and the microcurrent, you know. It used to be that we always did the red at the end of the treatment, like a red LED. Now, a lot of SDs have decided that they feel like it almost does a little bit more if they do the red LED before they do their microcurrent. So old method used to be microcurrent, then LED. Now a lot are doing LED and then microcurrent. Can be done either way. They coincide well together.
Pam, do you happen to have one of the handheld LEDs handy just to show what they look like? Because we also have those available for retailing to your clients as well.
And I know our hour's almost up, but I wanted to tell you too, we did a special because both of these are made by Clareblend. So we did a special with the LED and a mini. So here's our LED. This is a handheld, and this one does plug into an outlet. Take the little plastic piece off before you try to put it in. And don't laugh. Somebody asked me, otherwise I wouldn't be telling you that. Okay, hold on. All right. So I like to put, even if I'm doing it at home on myself, and I'll try not to be too overpowering here, I take saran wrap. And lay it onto it. So then that way it's clear. You don't want to use any colored products. You will always clear or no product with LED, but it has to be a clear product or no product. Okay, so keep that in mind, because think of it like a prism, and how you want that light to go where you want it to go. When now another good way, like I can show you on my hand. Can you see how you can like see it through my hand? That's because it goes 633 nanometers into the skin. So you can get an idea. Like if I do it on my wrist, it's thicker, you can't really see it, but on my thin hand, you can see how it's going through. Blue light is typically in the 400 range, and that's more for acne, for killing bacteria, things of that sort. But red and red/infrared, red for photorejuvenation, and red/infrared also for healing. So infrared's going to go in the 800 range, and red typically is 633 in the 630 range. Okay. To answer all the questions on that?
There was share the deal on this meeting. Because these meetings could leak out, we really value your wholesale pricing. So we don't normally discuss pricing during our webinars. You can always call me or email me after this. I'd be happy to send that over to you. You can also register at medspadistributors.biz. We do verify licenses to make sure you're current with your license, but then at that point, I'll send you our wholesale catalog, and you can access our pricing online as well.
You can do them on the lips. However, it's a little harder with the home one compared to like if I'm using my professional machine, I can get in a little tighter on the lips. And so what I mean by that is, I'm just grabbing two, I can take and go here and here and get really tight and, you know, right real close. Okay. As with this, I can only get that distance. You see what I'm saying? So professionally, I can get in closer and do the lips than I can at home. Now, of course, I can do the top, and you want to, you know, what we call kind of lengthen first and then bring up. But I can't get as tight as I can with my professional machine.
That's actually a great segue into another point I wanted to make, Pam, that doing the mini at home certainly does not replace you as their professional esthetician. There are things that you can do with your professional equipment. For example, you can customize the current specifically to their body, where the mini is on or off. We could get in a much closer, tighter space than the mini. So the mini will never replace you. It will just enhance what you're doing professionally for them. They can't get the same results at home as they do with you.
We want to do that. We want to enhance what you do, work with, and Nadia's shaking her head. I see that, yes. That it is meant to help bring you more income in, and for the main clients to maintain during their professional treatments.
Right. Especially now when everybody is home and cannot see you, this will help them bridge that gap and help them maintain their facials and their microcurrent treatments.
Exactly. They won't backslide to the point where we have to start all over with these microgrid sessions again. This is a great way to hold them at least steady until you can get them back on your table.
And you can have Zoom parties,
Yes.
Zoom parties.
And we do have the SDs doing that, where they bought like 5 minis or some even more than that, depending on how many clients, and they bought their Zoom party package, and basically it's their mini and some products along with it. And then she, the esthetician, or he, the esthetician, gets them together and at a certain time on Zoom, and then she goes and they can talk and they can chat and they can kind of, practice together. And if the person then has questions, they can say, well, how do I get into here? And she can then show them, while she has them, how you can tightly get into an area. So, and that takes you should maybe do an hour Zoom, but you're doing 5 people at the same time. And again, people still do want to socialize. It's like,
Keep in touch with your clients, and everybody has fun.
Exactly. Let's see, Andrea, has she finished? She probably is only about halfway finished now. I'm not sure. I know she was doing it.
Yeah, I was just going over my favorite spots, but so.
Isn't that great?
Very nice.
The minister and everything there too. So we really appreciate you guys' time. Hopefully that, you find it helpful to maybe get a few little hints on doing things like this. We are doing one about every Monday now, just about, unless there's a holiday involved. We're not going to do one on Memorial Day. But Nadia, thanks for joining us, because they don't get to see your faces often, so we really get to appreciate that you joined us.
It was my pleasure, and thank you everybody for all your support with the Mini. And you've all helped us make it a success. And we keep on making them, so keep on selling them.
Thank you guys. And that's what we do, is as far as it goes Clareblend. Clareblend is the manufacturer. They make all these great things. Little hint, we might even have something coming out this year, maybe the end of this year, maybe.
And then, don't talk about that just yet.
Maybe.
We're always developing new things, so just know that.
They're always working on new developments.
Rich is the mastermind, so
Yeah, Rich will call me and ask me, what do you want me to work on? And I'm like,
that's right.
And then, like I said, then it comes to us. We're the distributor. We're the estheticians for the education. And then the estheticians purchase this particular piece of equipment as far as either professionally with the Janess or the Mini to sell to their clients. We don't sell to the end user. We don't want to sell to the end user. We want to refer them to an esthetician to do that, because again, we want everybody to work on that education together and to go over contraindications. We never want this to be just where like, because we don't want to sell it on Amazon just where anybody can buy it and not have any training or education.
That's right. That's what sets Clareblend apart. Education, and we do not sell from our manufacturing facility, just so you know.
Take care, everyone. We will see you.
Thank you. And it's nice to meet the people.